Good evening everyone and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here for F1 2020 action, Season 5, Division 1, Round 12 of the Championship as we take in the Bahrain Grand Prix from the Sakhir International Circuit. My name is James Head, taking you through the stream as always on your Saturday night, and joining me in the commentary box, it wouldn't be a Saturday complete without him, it is Mr. Daniel Field. Dan, how you doing?
Doing brilliant. As always, it's a pleasure to be back here for the Bahrain Grand Prix, a track which does tend to favour the pad over the wheel. It's one of few tracks on this game. I remember on 2019, if you were driving a wheel on the circuit, you would get absolutely destroyed by the drivers on the controllers. But it is a bit more balanced in this game, and I think we're going to see a very, very hotly contested race.
Yeah, hotly contested race and a hotly contested qualifying. I think that will await the guys out on track. If you didn't tune into Spain and you completely missed what happened last week, Montana took the win. His third win in 4 races. In fact, he leads the way on 161 points in the championship. Alpha Trix finished second. It was the old sort of style battle between the top 3, and M Short finished in third as well. Fastest lap point, I believe, might have went to Nathan, if I'm not mistaken, looking at those grid standings. Montana out on top though on 161. M Short 16 points behind coming into tonight in second on 145, and then a bit of a gap down to D Daniel in third on 100, with Verstappen fourth on 108, I should say, for D Daniel, 100 for Verstappen in fourth, Jajo in fifth on 87, Justas in sixth on 81, Alpha Trix seventh, just a point behind him on 80, with Connor in eighth on 69, Campbell ninth on 57, and Nathan in 10th on 51. Neo, Hardy, Rocco, Vaporizer, Fake Yulbream running off the top 15. Kumblai, Ewan, Toxic, Cookie Games, Shapalelli and Muta are the only other guys as well who have scored points this season. Bullet Boy and Josh yet to pick up any points here coming into tonight in Bahrain. Running through the constructors as well, we've got about a minute to go until we go in towards qualifying. Racing Point dominating, 269 points leading away from McLaren, who are on 192 in second, Renault in third on 157, Red Bull in fourth on 149, Alfa Romeo fifth on 118, Williams sixth on 86, Mercedes seventh on 84, Haas in eighth on 40, Ferrari in ninth on 37, and AlphaTauri in 10th on 33 points. And Dan, let's just dissect what happened last week first and foremost. Montana took 3 wins in the last 4 races, another win last summer in Spain. M Short 16 points behind him. M Short has been consistent, but his run of form from Monaco to Austria, the 3 races in between there, Australia I think it was, those 3 races might have just cost him the championship.
Yeah, he just really did not have a good time in those. Of course, Australia was a circuit where he picked up a puncture. I think he stuck it out on the medium tires, the intermediate tires, when it was just not the right weather for them anymore. It was worth it to come into the pit lane. Unfortunately, he fell victim to that and picked up a puncture. Only managed to secure 12th position in the end, so it was a really unlucky event for him, but I guess you could boil that down to just him making a mistake, because he was certainly in a position to win that race, but he's not won since Russia, so he really does need to get his act together if he still wants to take the fight to Montana with just 5 races to go. But given the fact that Montana 3 wins in the last 4 races, it's going to be really, really tough to do.
It is going to be really tough to do. The countdown has now started. 20 seconds then awaiting our drivers out on track. And if you're just tuning in, welcome along to League of Europe. It is Division 1, of course. Division 3 and 4 also live alongside us. So if you do want to tune into any of those streams, you can pop out at any point. Stay here, though. We've got the best division in League of Europe. As now we are about to get going in towards qualifying around here at the Sakhir International Circuit in Bahrain. And Bahrain, of course, played host to 2 2020 races. It was the Bahrain Grand Prix and the Sakhir Grand Prix as well last season. And Sakhir, of course, 5.4 kilometres in length, 3.3 miles, 57 laps normally. There are 28 around here, if I'm not mistaken, on a 50% race. 15 turns awaiting the drivers, with the 3 DRS zones, 1 down the start-finish straight, 1 up the hill in towards turn 4, and 1 down in towards turn 11. And this is a track that really does prioritise a lot of overtaking.
Yeah, this track has 3 DRS zones for the drivers to attack each other, 2 of them being back-to-back in the first sector, so it's going to be really crucial for these guys to stay within that 1 second window of the cars in front. But of course, this track is quite historic over in League of Europe. Alphatrix, the only driver actually with 2 wins around here, and he's also set the fastest ever pole time, a 24.4, so really coming into this race he will have the upper hand. We'll just have to see how he does in qualifying, if he can still pick up, if he can improve even on his previous pole time. And yeah, they've loaded in. We're not going to be expecting any rain today.
Thank goodness for that. I thought you were going to say we are expecting rain. Of course we're not. We're in the desert, for goodness sake. But we are getting here in towards qualifying underneath the floodlights. And are we going to see a duel in the desert here tonight with the guys out on track? Nathan, one of the first to come out on track. There's a Red Bull just leaving the pit garage as well. Jow Jow just leaving the pit garage. Is Montana going to be the first out? No, Montana hasn't even left the pit lane just yet. I think it might be D. Daniel that is going to be one of the first out on track. And yeah, D. Daniel is going to be behind a Williams, and that was Justus, I think, getting out first, just in front of him.
Yep, so Justus will be taking us through on an out lap here around this circuit. It'll be really interesting to see how he does that. I'm not too sure if he's on the wheel or if he's on the pad or not, but it seems like D. Daniel's actually trying to overtake him, maybe just trying to get in front of him. I wouldn't really want to be ahead of the drivers in front, but he's sticking very close to the rear wing of the Williams car. I don't really know what he's trying. He's probably going to back up. Never mind. He goes to the inside, so he wants to be leading. They're racing on their outlaps. I don't think that's the smartest move on their part to be racing, but yeah, I'd say that they'd all back off, leave each other room, and then let each other get on with their laps.
Honestly, I think Jow Jow might be on to take us through a lap here, because he's looking quite quick in behind D. Daniel, both getting heat into the tyres now as they run down in towards turn 11. And turn 12, just coming up in towards here, D. Daniel out on track. Turn 12 can be a car killer. If you get caught on that curb on the inside line, if you've got an unstable setup, you will get caught on that curb and it will spin you. So be careful to anyone that might be racing either later on or here in this lobby tonight. But D. Daniel is going to be the first man out on track, and we're going to go on board with the Racing Points. He comes now through the final couple of corners. Yellow flags in Sector 3, don't worry about them, just drivers now preparing up for a lap. Around this 5.4 kilometre circuit, D. Daniel now will take us on a lap as he reaches in excess of 205 mile an hour, running down in towards turn 1, heavy braking zone down in towards turn 1, gets the car nicely turned in, now through turn 2, and then to the second DRS zone. Through turn 3, of course, where Grosjean had that horrific incident in 2020. D. Daniel now running up the hill in towards turn 4, getting a yellow flag in the final sector. Williams slowing up there. D. Daniel now coming through the end of the first sector. 27.3 through the first sector from D. Daniel, now comes through 6 and 7, and then in towards turn number 8 out on track, and turn number 8 can catch quite a few out. Stroll ran there and ran into each other, and obviously he flipped upside down. As a result, safety car came out as a result of that crash. But D. Daniel now through turn 9 and 10, the double left-hander, now running along the F2 pit straight along here, down in towards turn number 11. D. Daniel on a good lap, the Dutchman out on track, looking good so far as he comes down through turn 11, in towards turn number 12 and towards the end of the middle sector. Gets caught through nicely there, 103.6 through the middle sector from D. Daniel. He's there or thereabouts, one of the shortest final sectors to the line, about 19 or 20 seconds long, as D. Daniel now runs down in towards turn 14 and 15, turn 14 being this left-hander and turn 15 being the kink. That is a lap of Sakia done, and D. Daniel now coming across the line. It's going to be 24.6, yeah, 24.6 from D. Daniel out on top, and Jow Jow goes 2 tenths quicker than him.
Yeah, Alphatrix just about to cross the line, and he immediately blows that time out of the water. 24.8 for the British drivers. Renault across the line, that's Verstappen. He does the same lap time as Jow Jow did, just because Jow Jow did it before. That is why he's staying in front of him. More drivers putting in their runs. Yildirim going to 6th position. Nathan getting ahead of D. Daniel in 4th. So they're all finishing up their laps. Seems like they're in the mid to high 24s. We haven't seen anyone stoop as low as the 25s, so they're all pretty strong on their runs at the moment. There's an Alfa Romeo in the 3rd sector. That's a Yulmel Matt. I believe he made his debut in the last race, and he seemed pretty quick for a couple of them as Montana 24.3, very, very close to Alphatrix there.
Welcome to the show. We have got a balanced qualifying session, to be honest. Montana there on the wheel, second. Alpha Trix and Jaja first and third, both on the pad. Verstappen, I believe, is also on the wheel as well, so he's in fourth. Nathan on the pad in fifth. M Short on the pad in sixth. Pad domination so far, you would say, but I think it's quite balanced early on. We are 8/10 between first and 14th at this stage. Josh and Ruta are also on lap times. Ruta now coming through the final couple of corners. 103.9 through the middle sector. It's not a competitive lap, I don't think, this from Ruta. Comes across the line, and yeah, he goes 13th. Unlucky for some, 25 flat there from the Ferrari. Campbell and Kumbly just behind him out on track. Josh is coming through the middle sector in the Mercedes and now reaches down in towards turn number 8. But Josh, still the only driver, along with Connor and Justas, who went into the pit lane after invalidating on his flying lap. Both of them are now back out on outlaps. Everyone pretty much done in the first runs. I'm on board with Josh, though, running down in towards turn 11.
Yeah, interesting enough, Josh is strapped on a set of the medium compound of tyres, trying to maybe just try and get into the top 10.
He's on a set of softs.
He's on the mediums for me.
Oh, he's on a set of softs for me?
His tyres are yellow.
His tyres are red on mine.
Excuse what? He's on the mediums. Surely.
His tyres are red for me. We'll see who's right as he comes across the line. Let's see if this lobby is bugged. Josh now coming. Oh, he's coming into the pit lane. Absolutely typical. But he is coming into the pit lane, and I swear to God, he is on a set of soft compound tyre on my screen.
Yeah, no, I'm looking on the stream. They are red on your screen. What? He was on a set of mediums. That's so odd there. I don't know why that has happened, but I guess we just got to move on. Someone who's just begun up on a lap DNFing last time out in Spain, Connor. He's got a bit of vengeance to be sought. Of course, he won in Japan 2 races ago, and his teammates just come out of the pit lane, probably at the wrong time. If you wanted to give him a slipstream, maybe he's trying to take advantage of it once Connor's on his cooldown lap, but now coming in through towards a turn at number 4, just about missing his apex, I'd say. I don't think it's the best lap so far. It's look a bit nip and tuck for him, 27.7. That's quite a ways off of some of the other sectors that we've seen, so I don't think Connor's going to be too happy on his lap so far. On the run up towards turn number 9 and turn 10, the very tricky downhill left-hander. We'll see if he can maybe gain some time back, and that actually didn't look like too bad of a run for the British driver. Now onto the third DRS straight in towards turn number 11, a fast left-hander braking just about at the 50-meter boards for only a short amount of time, and then running it up the hill in towards turn number 12 and 13. I love this part of the track. If you get on that inside curve, your lap is completely screwed over. It doesn't seem like Connor is setting a really competitive time, and he almost loses the car, and he has just about saved that one there, but I think he's probably going to come to the pit lane because he's already been on this tyre for another lap, so yeah, I think that's the end of his run.
Oh, and he actually spins coming in through the final corner. Goodness me, Connor really losing that back end there. And Connor, that is such an unstable setup. He's got Justas just in behind him coming across the line. In fact, he's going to give him a little bit of a tow. Justas goes up to 8, 24.6. I think he should have just came into the pit lane. He did get a valid lap in, though, so Connor is going to be starting at least ahead of Josh if he can't get a valid lap in. Alpha Trix, though, has just started up on a lap once again. 24.3 for the driver out on track. 8 minutes gone in qualifying. Alpha Trix on top, Montana second, Jaja in third, Verstappen in fourth. A little bit of a squirrely moment through the first sector, and he's a 10th down. Coming through the first sector is Alpha Trix, and it is one of these tracks, Dan, where if you try and improve on a second lap, it's very hard to do because you've set such a good first lap. Many improvements normally can't be found around here.
Yeah, especially when you get to the level that these drivers are, where they just don't make as many mistakes as the lower divisions. They do find themselves not really making up as much time, especially at 24.3. That's a very competitive time for Alphatrix, and it's put him on pole so far. We'll see him through the second sector split if he has found any time on this lap. I know he's lost about another 10th through the second sector, so I don't think it's really going to be a competitive run for him at all. Connor's spun once again. He's just not liking the circuit at all. That was Verstappen going past him on his lap. Unfortunately, he's invalidated. I believe Justas was going fast. Justas isn't pushing, trying to find someone who's potentially on a run, but it doesn't seem like there's many. Actually, Yulbreen is in the third sector at the moment. He's just started it, and he's 4/10 up on a 24.7. This could be a top 2 time if he really nails this final sector. Coming through the last corner now, Yildirim looking really strong on this run. We'll see him opening up the DRS to finish up the lap, and bang!
24.2. There's not much more we need to say about that. I don't think Jojo is up though by a 10th in the middle sector, now coming towards the line. Is Jojo going to improve ahead of Fake Yildirim? No, he goes third, and he's 0.002 of a second off Alphatrix. Montana has just started the lap in behind him. Nathan and M Short are also on lap. Fuel Melmat is 400 down coming into the final corner. Let's see him out on track. There's an improvement further up the field. I think that was Campbell going into 10th position, so good lap from him. Fuel Melmat goes across the line. He improves up to 8th. Good lap time there. He improved his position. He improved his time, not his position. M Short, 1,000th ahead of him currently, but he's 900th up coming through the first sector. Let's see what the Brick can do as he comes through the final couple of corners. We've got Ewan now coming through the final couple of corners, I should say. He's on out lap, just starting his lap. M Short then is the next one to come across the line on his lap. Let's see what the Brick can do. Second in the championship coming into tonight, coming through turn 11 and trying to really fight the car through there. Now through turn 12. And this is a quick middle sector, I think, from M Short. He's 2/10 up, he's purple. Through the middle sector, he's going around Jojo Alphatrix sort of area. Maybe with this lap, it's looking very good at this point. You'll bring out on top the Alphatrix second, Jojo in third. Montana is on a lap in behind, coming through the final sector as well. But M Short coming through the middle coming through the final corner even. And now M Short coming towards the line. And he goes second. Good lap time there from M Short. Found a bit of time in that final sector. Nathan improved up to 5th as well. Montana improving 500ths of a second with 6.5 minutes to go, just over. Fake Yildirim out on top. Montana goes second. Good lap time there by Montana. But Fake Yildirim currently shocking everyone, including Jav and Killer, who predicted totally different predictions in terms of their instinct predictions earlier on. Yildirim though out on top. Montana in second. M Short in third, nobody else out on a lap at the minute. Alphatrix though is about to start one.
Yeah, just how about this for a stat? 6 drivers, the top 6 separated by less than a 10th. Make that 7 because Neo has just gone into 4th position. He's not really looked too strong so far in this season, but that is a very strong time from him to just put it behind his teammate, and only 1,000th quicker than Alphatrix, but it all could come to an end for him because Alphatrix beginning up on a lap now. We'll see him through the long straight, one of the longest runs up towards turn number 1 on the entire calendar. We'll see him come through this very slow part of the track, one of the slowest sections here, and very easy to lose it on exit as well. It's a very tricky traction zone through up towards turn number 4. We'll see him at the first sector split once he gets to around about turn number 5. Now coming off the exit of the corner, this is looking really tidy. He's just invalidated at the exact wrong moment, and the exact moment that we saw he was improving.
Oh, he was 200 up coming through the first sector, and then he invalidates coming through turn 6. Such an unfortunate event occurring there, but Alphatrix in 5th will have to wait, possibly with 2 more runs out on track. But Yildirim leading the way, Montana second, M Short in third, Neo in 4th. A good lap there from him. Verstappen is up in the first sector, now coming through in towards turn 11. Let's see what the Dutchman can do for QVR. Yulmelma is behind him out on track, but behind him in terms of position out on track at this stage. But Verstappen now coming through the middle sector, and Verstappen, he's a 10th.5 up. He's purple in the middle sector, but I think that's indicative of his personal best rather than a purple middle sector out of everyone. Verstappen now coming down in towards the final couple of corners. This is the sector where you can hardly find an improvement. Locks up in toward 14, coming out of 15, and now Verstappen on the run toward the line. I think he's going to go around Jojo sort of area. He comes across the line. He goes third. Really good lap time by Verstappen. Found a bit more time in that final sector as well. Justas is on a lap time there, running down in towards turn 1. I think he just came off a lap. In fact, Ruta across the line. Kumbly is improving 2.5 tenths out of the final corner, and Kumbly now comes across the line, and he goes 14th with a 24.7. Good lap there from him. Ruta is also onto a lap time, but Phil Yildirim, who's just come out the pit lane, is out on top still. Montana second. Verstappen, though, without lap time, puts him up into third, and 300ths of a second, just under, separating the top 4.
Yeah, I'd imagine that we'll see a couple more improvements from these guys because this is a very low grip circuit, and when more rubber gets laid down as the session goes on, that is just going to help their times improve. They're going to get a lot more grip. But from Neo down to Nathan, they're 5th to 8th, 4 cars separated by 6 thousandths of a second. I think that is just crazy to think about. But yeah, I'm just trying to see. I don't think anyone is on a push lap at the moment. I believe Wouter is actually on a run. He's currently 17th on circuit. He's got a lot of time to make up. He's 8 tenths down on Yulbream. We'll see almost two and a quarter tenths up in sector 2, coming in through the final sector now. Sector 3, only about 1 or 2 corners in this part of the track. There's yellow flags. I don't know why there would be, but I guess someone might have just run out of fuel on their way into the pit lane. Wouter out the final corner. DRS open for the Ferrari car, and he goes into 14th position ahead of his teammate and just behind his REL relentless compatriot Rocco.
Yeah, good lap time there by Wouter, 24.6, puts him, as well as Kumbly, 5 tenths away from the top. Your Josh is on a lap time now, coming in towards the middle sector. Through out of turn 10, and now on the run in towards turn 11. Yulbream still out on top, Montana second, Verstappen in third if you're just tuning in. Everyone pretty much in the pit stops. Daniel and Montana both out on out laps. Wouter just finishing off his lap. Josh then is on his lap, and he's the first to really set a competitive time through the middle sector. He's only 200ths up. He's there or thereabouts in terms of an improvement, but a little bit of a slow runner coming out of turn 13. Now running down the hill in towards the final 2 corners through 14 and then through 15, and Josh comes around the final couple of corners. Let's see what he can do as he spins the car. Very similar to Connor. He's hit the wall. He's got damage. Hopefully no wheel comes off on that car. He managed to recover it, but Josh spinning out, and that might be his qualifying session done. I can't see him getting out in 30 seconds.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, I actually don't think he picked up any damage, even though he did clout the wall. I didn't see any debris there, but yeah, his qualifying completely over. He's not going to be able to improve on his lap. Yulbream, he was on a run, but he did invalidate. I watched him actually invalidate. It was at turn number 2 where he went off the circuit ever so slightly on the curb, and he just completely screwed him over. But now, 1.5 minutes to go in this session. Montana has just begun on a lap. He's going to be the final the first driver to put in his final run. So we do need to see if he can just find 6 thousandths of a second. It seems very doable, but when you've got times like these, it can really ruin you over. And well, that was a bit of a heart in mouth moment for Montana, but in towards turn number 4, he's managed to keep it valid somehow. I don't know if it would hurt his time to have that little bit of a wiggle, but he is up. He's 300th of a second up on his previous best time. The bad thing is for him, he's catching a lot of traffic. There's about 4 cars just coming out at turn number 10 now, and he's got 2 cars in front of him, a Ferrari and a Renault car. So that is, yeah, I'm not too sure who it is, but Montana through now. He might pick up just a slight bit of a tow from this Ferrari car, the Scarlet Red, and it is actually Kumbly just getting out of his way. Very respectable there from the Dutchman. The Swissman, though, coming up quick through turn number 11 and in towards turn number 12. This is a very strong lap time from Montana, and he's a 10th. Just over a 10th up on his best time. Campbell pulling off to the right side. There's a Haas car just in front of Montana. Hopefully he can also get out of the way. This is really respectful from all of the Division 1 drivers to really make way for Montana, who's now out the final corner. This could be his pole time to cross the line. It's a 24.1. What a lap from Montana.
Yeah, very good indeed. I'm short up 1100 through the first sector. Alphatrix is now coming through the middle sector, pretty much qualifying over and done with now. Yulbream not improving in second. Alphatrix, though, he responds. He's quicker by a 10th in the middle sector compared to Montana's middle sector. Running out now through turn 13, on the run down in toward 14 and 15. Are Jav or Killer gonna be right in terms of their instincts? Alphatrix now coming around the final couple of corners, out on track. I think he might go second with this. I don't think it's good enough. Alphatrix comes across the line. Oh, what does the commentator know? What does he know? 24th lap by Alphatrix. Good lap from him. Verstappen is 1900th of a second down. M. Short is improving 600ths of a second up in this middle sector. He really needs to find something special in this final sector. We've got Nathan on a lap time as well down in 9th. We'll see what Verstappen is doing in behind as well. But M. Short round the final corner, coming across the line. And he goes third, and he's only 800ths of a second off Montana. Verstappen is 700ths improving, comes across the line now, And he goes fourth. Good lap time by Verstappen. What's Nathan doing in behind? He's a 10th up through the middle sector. Justas now running the final couple of corners. But Nathan running toward the line. He goes fifth. Good lap time from him. Justas now coming across the line. Doesn't improve on his time. Campbell is not improving. Rocco is 7,000 up coming through the final corner. Kumbly as well as invalid. But Rocco now ran the final couple of corners. And he goes 12th. Good lap there by Rocco. But out on track with Campbell still yet to come in. Montana coming into the pit lane as well. He's run out of fuel. Alpha Trix out on top. Montana second. M Short in third. Pretty much a carbon copy of Spain.
Yeah, the top two just separated by about 0.04 of a second. That is incredible how close those two have gotten to each other, butting heads like they did the entirety of last season in season 4. But these two, they've not really had their fabled where they were completely equal on pace. Montana checked out in the last race and just completely ran away with it. But Bahrain, the pad OP circuit, this really could be Alpha Trix's time to step back up to the plate and have a swing at Montana.
He could do indeed, but Alpha Trix out on top, Montana second, M Short in third. The story is now there. Duel in the desert, we are going to call it. Alpha Trix and Montana could potentially happen here tonight. I've picked that up for so long, I really do hope it now happens. Alpha Trix out on top, Montana second, M Short in third. Looking further down the field though, Verstappen all the way down to Yul Melmat, separated by what, 700ths of a second out on track? That is separating 5 drivers. Further down the field as well, the whole field actually separated by just over 0.8 per second, just waiting on Montana to retire from the session. But Alpha Trix out on top, it's literally, I say that Montana does retire, but what a fantastic, fantastic qualifying session. The whole field separated by less than a second, and Alpha Trix is out on top. And when you down the full grid right now, Alpha Trix out on top, 0.04 of a second over Montana. M Short in third, Verstappen in fourth, Nathan fifth with Yul Bream in sixth, Neo in seventh, Yul Melmat eighth, and Zhao Zhao in ninth. Third down to ninth, separated by over 1/10.5 of a second. Justas in 10th, rounding off the top 10. Daniel in 11th, Rocco 12th, Ewan 13th, Campbell 14th, Rooter 15th, Kumbly 16th, Connor and Josh starting from the back of the grid on the back row. On row 9, Connor and Josh 17th and 18th position. But Alpha Trix out on top, Montana second, M Short in third. We are now set for what potentially could be, I've said it before once this season, race of the season.
Yeah, there's been quite a few candidates for race of the season, but possibly Bahrain could be one. I think one of the biggest surprises in that qualifying session was how low Connor put that car. He went, I think there's 18 drivers, so he would have gone 17th on the grid with his time. He was 0.8 off of his teammate, which just really can't run, especially for a driver of Connor's caliber to be qualifying right at the back of the order. But he could potentially be going for the OP alternate strategy. He might have backed off on his lap at some point just so he wouldn't secure a top 10 finish. I'm not too sure if Connor would do that, but yeah, we'll just have to see where he can aim for in the race. Of course, alternate strategy is a lot more powerful, so you do have to watch out for the drivers outside the top 10, starting from 11th, 12th and 13th. Those 3 are going to be the dark horses in this race.
Yeah, you mentioned Connor. I mean, Connor is going to be stuck in a DRS train, to be honest, and it's going to be so difficult to overtake. If you're further up this DRS train, it's more likely that you are going to overtake the driver ahead. If you're further back, say you're 10, 12 cars back, potentially, in this DRS train, there's absolutely no hope, unless you get a fantastic run out the final corner and the driver in front of you makes a mistake. There is no chance, I don't think, for an overtake to then happen. But it's round a high degradation circuit here in Bahrain, and now the formation lap has begun, with Alpha Trix out on top, Montana in second, and M Short in third. Looking down the rest of the field, top 10 of course qualifying on a set of softs. Rocco, exception rather than the rule, going on a set of medium compounded tyres. Mediums tend to last around, what, lap 12, lap 13?
I think that might be a pretty good estimate. I think that is when you would want to take off the tyres. The probably maximum they can go to is about lap 16. Whether drivers would risk it, because that is when they are deep into puncture territory, I don't think they would. So that is going to be up to Rocco. I would say he is going to pit around about where you said in probably, lap 12, 13, and then it'll fit on a set of hards, medium to soft or soft to medium. It's just not viable whatsoever. You will guaranteed to get a puncture. So all the drivers in the top 10, they've got to go for the soft to hard. They'll be locked to that. Hard runners do have a little bit more flexibility. I'd say they go hard to medium rather than hard to soft, because the undercut is pretty damn strong around this circuit. But the grid very spaced out at the moment. Alphatrix just beginning the third sector. Well, Josh is halfway down the straightaway, so it'll be Alphatrix heading up Montana, and then M Short in behind in third.
Ewan made a slight mistake coming out of turn 10. Just saw that on the mini-map. He lost a little bit of the rear end, but he is still in 13th position coming around out on track. There's a very quick grid, I've got to be honest. Alphatrix, Montana and M Short want to get on with this. I think Verstappen in this stage, he's probably thinking, no, I don't want to really get on with this, because the rest of the guys are in behind me coming through the final corner. Verstappen coming across the line then in 4th position, and we are now about to see the drivers line up for the final time here in Bahrain for round 12 of the championship. 5 races to go, including this one. Predicting a pit stop strategy there for the leader. Lap 8 to 9 on a set of softs, lap 16 to 17 on a set of mediums. 2 stop, it seems, could be the way to go. 1 stop will probably be the way to go. Never trust the AWS graphics on this game. Dan, quickly, who's your top 3?
Our top 3, I'm going to go with Alphatrix to win, M Short in second, and I'll pick Verstappen to go third, I think.
Yeah, interesting top 3 there is the run down in towards turn 1 from Alphatrix's view. And there's Montana's view running down in towards turn 1 as Ewan has left the session. Hopefully it doesn't cause a bit of a glitch, but the 5 red lights are on here in Bahrain for round 12 of the championship here in Liga Group Division 1. And it's right down, away we go. Montana reacts a little bit slower than Alphatrix, and Alphatrix has got away by 0.2 of a second. Running down in towards turn 1. Rooter already through on Campbell. Yul Melmac going side by side with Neil down in towards turn 1. Yul Melmac dives it down the inside. A little bit of contact there. Verstappen caught up in an instant. Nathan is now through and he's into 4th. Alphatrix still leading the way. Montana in second, M Short in third as they come up the hill for the first time. Yul Melmac going side by side with Neil still, and they come now side by side in towards turn 4. Jaja going side by side with Justas as well, and Jaja's been spun. Connor nearly losing the rear end there as well. He nearly goes inside of Jaja further down the field, and Jaja will have to try and make ground up very quickly indeed if he is to try and combat those tyres. Campbell trying to go around the outside of D. Daniel. This is for the final point scoring position at this stage, and now Campbell and D. Daniel go side by side. Hamano and Campbell is through, and he's up into 11th position. Good move there. Lot of action happening further down the field. Speaking of more action, Jaja and Kumblai now side by side. Ewan hopefully going to rejoin the session. Jaja through then, and he's into 14th. Kumblai's going to try and come back at him down in towards turn 11. Not quite close enough. A lot of great action though out on track, and Alphatrix has stolen away. Montana in second and M Short in third.
Yeah, now Alphatrix's really main priority is to just get away from Montana as soon as possible. He had a really good getaway as Zhao Zhao has made it past Wouter, I believe, on the exit of turn number 13. Wouldn't be expecting many moves to be going down there, but yeah, Zhao Zhao with his spin, he's going to be amongst the hard runners. You can see the difference in pace at the moment on those Red Wall soft tyres is exponential, and D. Daniel actually into the pit lane, so I think he must have picked up some damage early on. At the bottom of my screen it's saying DRS enabled. I don't think that is quite the case, because it is only lap 2.
Wouter trying to go side by side with Jaja. Sorry to cut you off, but Jaja going side by side with Wouter, and Wouter spun. He's done a Mazza spin coming through turn number 3. I really hate to do that, but Wouter is round coming through turn 3. Just lost the rear end, very similar to Mazepin in this year's Grand Prix. But that is him now out of contention, and it means that it is Alphatrix still out in front. Montana second, M Short in third, Nathan in fourth, Verstappen in fifth. That was Neil looking down the inside there on Yul Melmac for 7th, and now they come up the hill once again in towards turn number 10. Everyone now spacing themselves out. Rocco and Campbell in 10th and 11th, and they've got a gap of about a second over each other there as well. And actually Rocco, he's in DRS range on these guys, and he's on a set of mediums, and he's got Campbell on a set of hards behind him.
Yeah, so this is going to be really good for Rocco. He's going to latch onto the back of this DRS train. DRS will be enabled next time by. They're about to begin lap number 3. So if Rocco can keep within this 1 second window that he does need to Justas, then he'll be in a really strong position later on in the Grand Prix when their tyres begin to go off. He can get a bit of a move on, maybe make some overtakes, and then have a bit of an overcut. Which isn't too powerful around here, but he'll have a lot fresher tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix, so we do have to watch out. Zhao Zhao picking off another driver in towards turn number 1. This time it is Campbell. They're still wheel to wheel though. Campbell holding on for dear life, but it's not going to be enough. Zhao Zhao slipping up the inside. He moved into P11 and now he'll be trying to get back to where he was before, fighting for the top 10 positions. He's got to get onto the back of Rocker though.
Do you think Zhao Zhao spun coming through turn 4 on the first lap and he's only 6.6 seconds off the lead? That's how impressive he is in terms of pace. Zhao Zhao is catching up to the back of Rocco. He'll be on the back of Rocco, I think, in the final in the final stages of this lap. He's 1.1 seconds off. He's going to be about 9/10 coming through that corner, to be honest. Montana, though, applying a bit of pressure to Alpha Trix. Alpha Trix still leads the way from Montana in second. M Short and third. It looks like the front two are just beginning to pull away slightly. M Short in there in third, 7/10 of a second off the back of Montana. But it just looks to me as if Alpha Trix and Montana might carry a little bit more pace than M Short around here. Nathan keeping up as well with Verstappen. The top 5 are pulling away. E1 has managed to rejoin the session. He's down in 16th ahead of Ruta in the Ferrari at the minute. But Alpha Trix leading the way for Montana in second and M Short in third. Nathan right on the back though of M Short. Montana looking to the final corner. Is he going to try and look for a move down in towards turn 1? The proverbial duel in the desert possibly about to begin. Running down in towards turn 1 as Ruta has got through on E1's AI. Alpha Trix, though, is still going to be in the lead of the race, running down in towards turn number 1. Neo coming from a mile back on Yul Melmat as Josh has retired, and that is into the pit wall, I think. It's actually coming out the final corner. He's crashed it hard. A safety car has been deployed. Out on track. Ruta is in. Ewan's car. Oh, he's just taken control at the start-finish line. Oh, that's such a shame. Daniel, though, on a set of mediums, he is not going to be coming into the pit lane, you would imagine. But Ruta is in. Perfect timing for Ruta. He's into the pit lane, on for a fresh set of mediums. 2 stop it is then for him. Safety car deployed, though. Josh crashing, very similar to Albon, I think, in 2019.
Yeah, just not too sure what happened there. I didn't get to see any of that incident for him, but yeah, it was unfortunate that Ewan wasn't able to get into the pit lane. He'd just taken control of his car. Daniel's gone into a set of hard compound of tyres, I believe. It's saying they're 2 laps old, so I don't know if it's the same set. I'm not too sure what's gone on there. But yeah, now they've got to follow a strict delta until the leaders catch up with the safety car, and then they can begin to really form up as a queue. Whether these guys come into the pit lane, I'm not too sure if they'd really risk it, because lap 4 is very early to come in for a set of the hard compound tyres. You can expect about 20 laps probably out of the hards, and then they'll be completely done at that point. So I'd say it's just a slight bit too early for these drivers to come to the pit lane, but maybe if they want to, they'll have a couple of laps under the safety car, given how spread out the last 2 drivers are of Wuta and Daniel. They might have a little bit of opportunity to run those, as Montana fakes coming to the pit lane. They're all going to stay out on circuit, except for Yulbream, interestingly enough. He's pulling into the pit lane.
He's going to do the strategy I think I was going to say. He's going to go on to a set of hard compound tyres, 20 laps on a set of hards. He's going to be very quick towards the end of the race. White wall tyre compound out in the pit lane, and the front wing change as well for Yulbream. So that is why he's into the pit lane, to prioritise that front wing change out on track. And Yulbream now onto a set of hard compound tyres. We've also got Justas on a set of mediums and Yul Melmat on a set of hards as well. Jajo back into the pit lane. Looks like that is a set of, well, it doesn't say to me. He's now going on to a set of medium compound tyres. Connor also on a set of mediums. But Yul Melmat and fake Yulbream out on track. I think they've done a very good call here, if I've got to be honest, because Justas and Connor, they're going to have to go on for a fresh set of mediums towards the end of the race. Yulbream and Yul Melmat, if they get 20 laps out of these set of hards, that's going to take them to what, 23, 24 laps into the race? Put on a fresh set of soft compound tyres, they're going to be there or thereabouts, surely.
Well, in saying that, they are losing 22 seconds in the pit lane, so whether they can actually make up that deficit to the drivers in front who are on the older hards, I don't really think it's possible for them. If there is another safety car, those tyres will certainly be able to go to the end. They might still make it on this set, but I just think it's a little bit too risky for these guys to really commit to it and make it work. It is not a surefire strategy for the both of them, so they've both really got to keep their wits about them and also save their tyres heavily. The safety car obligated to do 2 laps, and the grid is beginning to stack up quite nicely. So I think next time by is when we will see some green flag racing.
Well, at least the safety car is not like a Mini Cooper in Formula E, and at least it's not a farce of a race like it was in Formula E earlier on. If you didn't watch it, go back and watch it, because honestly, it was the worst race I think I've ever seen in Formula E. And it just puts a dampener, really, on that entire season. We're in Formula 1, though, in the meantime. And these guys are now coming across the line to start lap 6 out of 29. Safety car is out, if you are just tuning in to the action. Myself and Daniel Field taking you through the action, of course, as always, on a Saturday night. It's Alphatrix out on top, Montana second, and M Short in third. Let's have a look at the position gains. Obviously going to be a bit topsy-turvy because of the pit stops that have happened. But most positions gained. Kuhn Bly, 7 positions. Campbell on 6. Rocker on 5. 3 positions gained for Ewan and Connor respectively as well. He's taken control of his car, by the way. Ewan in 10th. Nathan and Neo have also gained 1 position. The big loser, because he came into the pit lane, Zhao Zhao. He's down 7 positions down on track. Yulbream and Yul Melmat as well, down 6 and 5. Daniel also on 6 positions down. And Justas, who's on the back of the queue, he came into the pit lane, I think, very early, if I'm not mistaken. He's already made his pit stop. He came into the pit lane just a couple of laps ago, and he's on a set of medium compound tyre, and he is the first man that potentially could be carving his way through the field.
Yeah, I'd say that Justas and Zhao Zhao are going to be the quickest guys on the grid. I'd say that those fresh mediums are going to be quicker than those softs, even though they've just done a couple of laps under the safety car. So I definitely think that those soft tyres will run out pretty soon. Normally, in a normal race scenario, you pit around lap 7 to lap 9. That is really your sweet spot, I'd say, for the soft tyres to come in for the set of hards and then run to the end and be very, very light on the tyres towards the end. So I definitely think Zhao Zhao and Justas, those are the two we have to watch out for. Justas going to have the track position over Zhao Zhao, so he'll certainly be the one at the sharper end of the alternate strategy runners.
Safety car lights are out on the safety car now. Alphatrix is the virtual safety car out on track. He's the Burt Marlander, and he's going to be controlling the pace from here on in, down in towards the final corner. I think he'll go just before the exit of the final corner, out on track. If he weaves off track, he could pick up a 3-second time penalty out on track, which could cost him potentially, but Alphatrix is holding out now. Goes and he's caught Montana absolutely napping under that restart. He's already gained a second, and Alphatrix is electric away from that restart. What a restart from Alphatrix as he comes across the line. We're back on the way here in Bahrain. Verstappen and Nathan are about to go side by side, it seems, and Verstappen now trying to look on Nathan, relentless against QVR. Oh, how Jav would like to see this. Verstappen trying to go on the outside line. Nathan a little bit deep on the brakes, but Verstappen now tries to loop it back round the outside through turn 2. Yul Melmat and Yulbream going side by side as well further down the field. Nathan really not giving any room to Verstappen. Verstappen on the outside line. It will be really, really costly, but Nathan outbrakes himself, and now Verstappen tries to loop in on the inner, but Nathan is still in 4th position. Verstappen in 5th. The top 3 begins to pull away once again. Alphatrix though an electric start. Montana though in that second phase of the restart, he's finally caught back up. Wouter right on the back of Connor, I should say, further down the field as Zhao Zhao dives it down the inside on Wouter. That is bold, that is brave, but that is brilliant. The IFR man is through on the relentless driver. Jav wouldn't have liked to seen that one. Zhao Zhao is through and he's into 15th, and he's carving his way through the field early.
Yeah, and I think Justas is also going to take a slice out of the cake because he's on in the back of his teammate. He's only 6 tenths off the back of Cohen Blow is E1. I think Justas doesn't want to create that buffer that he needs to make up and utilise his medium tyres in a place he doesn't want to. So I think clearing E1 is going to be his main priority. Going down into the final corner, he's not really where you want to make a move. So I think it's towards turn number 1 is where he's going to try and attempt this. We'll see it coming, breaking at the 100-metre board in towards, I believe, turn number 14 to finish up the lap. We're going on to lap number 8. Here comes Justas, the supreme grip on the exit now, and he's made that one stick already. Not even close towards turn number 1. He doesn't need the DRS whatsoever.
Connor's right on the back of Yulbream, dives it down the inside line. This could be brilliant from Connor. It's a very late move. It's like Ricciardo-esque, but Yulbream hangs on. But look at Zhao Zhao in behind. Zhao Zhao gets a better run compared to both of them in front. And Yulbream and Connor, they've got to be careful. They've got to make 2 moves into the corner. Connor absolutely sends it around the outside. That was got to go one way. He literally slid on the curb. Zhao Zhao picks up 2 free positions. That's why he held back. Zhao Zhao is now through, and he's into 13th. And he'll like that one like it's been lapped up on a plate for him.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about that one. I think Connor might have been a little bit aggressive on the overtake and he didn't really leave Yulbream enough room. That is one man's opinion, of course. I don't know if Yulbream will want to report that one, but he's certainly going to be annoyed with how that is all unfolded for him. Montana, 3/10 back from Alpha Trix. DRS is, I believe, not enabled as of yet. Next lap, so they won't get a fixing of it until the second DRS straight in towards turn number 4. Whether Montana can keep that gap and get closer, that remains to be seen.
Montana just made a mistake coming out the final couple of corners there through turn 13. He just made a slight mistake of caught on the outside curve, but now liking onto the back of Alpha Trix, and I think this is about to kick off between these two. Alpha Trix now really under pressure. He doesn't even need DRS running down the straight, does Montana, and now looks for the inside line down in towards turn 1. Has he overcommitted it on the brakes? No, he hasn't. It's beautiful from Montana, and now let the duel in the desert begin. Montana and Alpha Trix. Alpha Trix is going to try and respond. DRS now enabled for him. He's going to try and respond up the hill, but I don't think he's got good enough. He'll let Montana go, and Montana is through, and he's into the lead of the race. Alpha Trix in second, M Short in third. Nathan, though, all of this battling ahead is just beginning to let Nathan back into play. Rocco as well, on an older set of mediums, he's into play as well with the big guys towards the end of the race. Jaja on the back of Ewan in the meantime, 9th and 10th position. Oh, it's actually Jaja nearly loses it coming out, and he's lost a position to Yul Murmur. Actually, he's going to swoop down the inside line. He's out on the outside line coming through turn 9. The two Alfa Romeos are side by side, and Yul Murmur lets him through. Jaja is through, and he's into 10th position. That's one way to try and get an overtake, rejoining off track.
Yep, it's all kicking off down in the lower end of the top 10. Given the fact that Montana invested so much into that overtake, that leads me to believe that he is coming into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Those tyres are going to be completely shot at this point. He's going to make all that ERS back up at the end. So once he's in the pit lane, he'll be recharging that battery. I'm sure he couldn't have a bite at the cherry of Alpha Trix, so he wasn't able to make up any positions. But I'll expect him to also be coming to the pit lane as Montana. He darts to the right hand side, as is Alpha Trix, as is M Short. The top 4 all into the pit lane. They've all gotten nice and cleanly. Those are the last of the sub runners, and Justas on the inside of Campbell coming in towards turn number 1. He's made that one stick. There's a battle further back behind between Zhao Zhao and Ewan. Ewan has to fence to the outside line as Connor's tried to go for the move as well. And I don't know if he's got any damage, but he's too aggressive at this point.
Really aggressive from his driving. Connor just needs to calm down in terms of his racecraft as well. Rooter now to the inside line, running down in towards turn number 4. This is for 10th and 11th, and Connor outgunned down the inside line by Rooter. That's how you do get an overtake around here. Rooter is through, and he's into 10th position. Yeah, Connor just being a little bit over aggressive in terms of racecraft. He dummies him down the inside line now, down in towards turn 8. And actually, speaking about his racecraft, that was a brilliant move down the inside line. Literally, he just proves me wrong. Sometimes Connor is through, and he's into 10th position, retakes the position in probably one of the smartest moves of the race so far.
Yeah, I've got to admit, it is a very tidy move, but I think tilt is beginning to settle in for Connor, where he's just getting a little bit frustrated with how the race has unfolded so far, and he's been in a couple of incidents in this race. I think that is affecting his driving a little bit, and he probably does need to rein it in a little bit just at some point, but yeah, it was a really clean move, so yeah, I can shut up about that one because that was a really neat and tidy overtake. We might see another neat and tidy overtake for 4th position. Zhao Zhao on the back of Connor. Not Connor. Cohen Bly. It's going to be fresh and medium tyres against old hards. That is an easy move for the Ferrari driver. He doesn't even need his overtake down the straightaway. He makes that one stick in towards turn number 1. And like I did say, he is probably the quickest man on circuit.
Yeah, he is the quickest man on circuit indeed, and Zhao Zhao through, and he's into 4th position out on track. Montana, in terms of Zhao Zhao, in terms of the gap, Zhao Zhao's 3 seconds off the lead. Montana is about 17 seconds behind him. In the whole grand scheme of things, Zhao Zhao will have to make another stop out on track. Montana and Alpha Trix and the likes will be committed, I would think, towards the end of this race. But it just begs the question whether Zhao Zhao is going to be in and around the sort of likes of D. Daniel, Connor, Wooter towards the end of the race as well, when he decides to come into the pit lane. Justas is now a man on a mission. He's right on the back of Rocco for the lead of the race, and the Haas is under pressure. I don't think Justas is going to go for the move though. Lithuania against the Brit, and the Brit is going to hang on down in towards turn number 11, and Rocco leads the way still from Justas in second. Campbell in third, and Campbell just catching up slightly, 1.5 seconds now, the gap between second and third. Rocco leading the way. Justas in second. Justas now right on the back, on the coattails of Rocco. And you would imagine this is probably the point where Rocco will be looking towards the pit lane. 1 lap 11 out of 29. I said about lap 12 or lap 13. I wouldn't be surprised if he does pit in around now to go into a set of hard compound tyres. He's not going to pit in this lap, but what I can say with a lot of confidence, Justas is going to get this move halfway down the straight, and he's through, and he's into the lead of the race. As now Jojo, right on the back of Campbell, is going to try and repeat the same down into the braking zone, down in towards turn 1, and Jojo again, mincemeating his way through the field, carving like a knife through butter. He is through, and he's into third.
It's absolutely textbook, I'd say, for Jojo at this point. It's like putting on your trousers in the morning, you just never forget how to do it. D. Daniel on the back of Yulbrim coming in towards turn number 4. He's around the outside of the AlphaTauri car. He gets just a little bit squeezed out, and that was never going to work, but he's still on the rear of the AlphaTauri, the the white and blue car, and he just had to stay back for the time being, but he is getting very racy at this point. Those tyres are still completely geared in. He's got Connor on his rear as well, so I don't think he wants to really deal with the charging Red Bull at this point, but he was right into the back of Yulbrim, and I think if he went to the inside, he probably would have made that move stick.
Verstappen's putting AlphaTrix under a lot of pressure as well. Montana, I was about to say, Montana was losing time to the back of Ruta out on track, but actually it is now Montana gaining time on the back of Ruta. Those tyres seem to have warmed up just as I was cutting away, but Montana in 12th, AlphaTrix in 13th, Verstappen in 14th, Verstappen trying to put under a bit of pressure. Nobody, and I repeat nobody, apart from Josh who's out the race, has picked up a 3-second time penalty out on track, which is absolutely remarkable around here, considering I normally see penalties left, right and centre around this track, so it's very good to see, good in terms of the racecraft as well. Literally down the straight, D. Daniel now on the back of Yulbrim. They're both stuck in the DRS train. I don't think D. Daniel's going to come from this far back for the move, and no he doesn't. Connor and Ruta stays in behind as well, running down in towards turn 1 through turn 2, none of the exit through turn 3 as well. They don't run over the curb, otherwise they will pick up a 3-second time penalty though. Verstappen on the back of AlphaTrix, and M Short let through by Neo it seems, so M Short through, and he's into 16th, Neil down into 17th position, but all of these guys now stuck pretty much within a train, putting away from M Short and Neo at this stage, and Nathan trying to apply pressure to Verstappen. Verstappen trying to apply pressure, oh my god, Nathan nearly went into the back of Verstappen there. Very, very lucky boy not to come in, and look what that's happened, look what that's done. M Short and Neo have just gained 4/10 of Nathan's outbreak.
Yeah, so they're all closing back up to each other, getting into that slipstream fest DRS train, as it is most commonly known as still further up the order. They're all fighting, but no moves being made because of the DRS train. I'd expect probably Rocco to pit this lap by. I'm not too sure, but he is the last driver, I believe, on circuit to actually not make a pit. And there is a couple of drivers, Campbell, Kumblai and E1, not making a pit stop either in this race, but those medium tyres not going to be feeling too good at this point, and I think he'll want to come in. No, he's going to stay out for probably just one more lap, as Yulmel Matt, he's about 2/10 back from E1. He could maybe see an opportunity in towards turn number 1. He turns off his overtake, so he's not going to go for the move in towards turn number 1, but he is closing up to the back of the Dutchman. Of course, older hard tyres not going to be good for him.
Connor nearly into the back of D. Daniel, running down in towards turn 1, but a perfect outbreak there from Connor. Didn't go into the back of him, but he's just lost a little bit of time. Ruta in behind as well. It's all kicking off in behind though. Montana, AlphaTrix, Verstappen, Nathan, M Short and Neo. In this stage, if I was one of these drivers in this train, I'd be wanting to work together to try and break the hearts of the guys ahead. Montana, over the last 2 or 3 laps, it was 11.5 seconds the last time I looked. It's only 11.2. Montana is really not gaining on the back. And if I was to be honest, do you know how I said that that Jiao Jiao was pulling away from him? That gap is now 17.3 seconds. Jiao Jiao is quicker than Montana out on track, and Montana is way further down the field, but it looks like he's just got on with it this lap as he now begins to pull away as soon as I say that.
Yeah, this is key to remember that they haven't invested much ERS. They're still on about 70% all around, so they're not really pushing too hard. Zhao Zhao has had to get his elbows out and try for a move, so he has had to invest some of his overtake, and he might actually try for the move on Rockwin towards turn number 1. You can see the overspeed that he's getting, upwards of about 320, almost 330 kilometers per hour down the straightaway towards turn number 1. The heavy braking zone there, and he's made that move stick on Rocco. Now he's into P2, and he's about 5/10 off the back of Justas. These two probably got the ideal strategy out of all the drivers at the moment on the 2-stop. Who'd have thought it around Bahrain, as Verstappen comes to the back of Alpha, but I don't think he's going to make anything of it, as the train up ahead, they still can't find any moves.
Yeah, the train looks like it's getting longer as well. Reuter has just joined onto the back of that. Connor is all over the back of D. Daniel. D. Daniel in turn is all over the back of Fake Yulbream. In the meantime, still on board with Verstappen on the back of Alpha Trix. There's a black fly just in front of my screen. I'm going to swipe it away as Alpha Trix is still in 13th, Verstappen in 14th, D. Daniel in 9th. And just an update on that black fly, I think it's dead.
Oh, well, that's what you love to hear on a League of Europe Division 1. Very, very rest in peace, Mr. Fly. But we'll get back to the more interesting stuff. The Bahrain Grand Prix, lap 15. There's about a tale of 3 races at this point. The leading train, all on the mediums, then the hard runners with Connor and Wooter on the back of them, and then the net race leaders at the back of the order. Those guys for surefire going to the end of this race. All the drivers in front, they still have to make a pit stop.
Yeah, they do. Spag, by the way, the Chugga Chugga Choo Choo is now, well, putting into the station. Campbell and Kumblai into the pit lane. That really did not work, I don't think. You'll know that's on the back of E1, though, running down in towards turn number 1. Not quite close enough to the back of him. Nearly runs into the back of him, in fact. Campbell, though, into the pit lane. Kumblai into the pit lane. There's Montana coming across in towards turn number 1. But Yulman Matt going side by side with E1. Running up the hill in towards turn 4. Williams lets him through. Yulman Matt through, and he's into 4th position. Out on track, and he's on a fresh set of hard compound tyres. Not on hot compound tyres. They could be towards the end of this race, but Yul Melmat is in 4th position. Is there a chance actually Yul Melmat could try and get to the end of the race?
He's got to about, what, 13 and a half laps left in this race, so that'll put him on about 13 and a half, and he'll be well into puncture territory. If he can do it, I will do a shoey if he gets to the end on that same set of hards, and no matter where he finishes.
I've honestly seen it done before. I've seen like 24, 25 laps being hit. If you've got really good tyre wear around here, you can make 24, 25 laps last on a sort of hard compounded tyres. Albeit, that was on the last game that I was talking about on one of the leagues I used to commentate on, but I have seen it done as Yulbream now closes into the back of E1. E1 tyres looking very much shot now. He's got blistering on the rear right, as you can see, as Yulbream now as Zhao Zhao into the pit lane. E1 is going to come into the pit lane, so that theory, I think, of trying to get 26 laps on the sort of hard probably will not work. So I'll eat my own words and shut up at this point.
So Zhao Zhao into the pit lane. We'll see where he emerges in comparison to the medium runners. This could make or break his race depending on where he comes out. He is not far at all from this train. Zhao Zhao, from spinning on lap number 1, he's now with and amongst the net race leaders. This also, Justas going to be in this train as well. He's about 1.3 seconds off the back of Neo, who's in the train. This is going to be an absolute trouncing if he's able to get a run on them.
Zhao Zhao's 1.3 seconds off the back of Neo, not Justas. Justas is in the lead.
I meant...
You said Justas, I swear you did.
I said Justas was going to emerge in this train, and then I went back to Zhao Zhao.
1.3 seconds, I misheard. There we are. Justas leading the way. Rocco in second, Yulman third. It happens to the best of us. Verstappen on the back of Alpha Trix, though, running down in towards the double left-hander. Montana, though, just beginning to try and eke away a little bit. 8.5 tenths, 8 tenths of a second now. The gap as he comes down in towards turn 11 once again. Verstappen, though, looking to try and apply a bit of pressure to Alpha Trix ahead. And both of these guys are well known for their battles. We saw it last time out, of course, in Spain, where these two battled, and Alpha Trix and Verstappen will be hoping to try and do it once again. Nathan not entirely out of this either. M short, but look at Zhao Zhao. Zhao Zhao is all over the back. He's in a purple middle sector. He's on the back of Neo now. What is he going to be like in, say, 5 laps' time? Is he going to be through on all of these guys. He's got one target ahead of him, and that's Neo, and he's got his sights set on him now as Zhao Zhao running down the straight. Is he going to try a late move down in towards turn one? You can see now the car closing in. He might get this done without DRS. He dives it down the inside line. Zhao Zhao is through, or Neo. There's one. How many others is he going to tick off in the space of the next 5 laps?
Yeah, but I really think this is where the turning point of the race comes, the rise of Zhao Zhao, because he's right onto the back of M Short. These drivers in front of him are going to start to get their elbows out and try and make up positions so as to not be at the mercy of the charging Alfa Romeo car in this Grand Prix. M Short looking onto the back of Nathan, who's looking onto the back of Verstappen. They're all concertinaing up together, but Zhao Zhao has just got the supreme grip, and I think he might try for the move in towards turn number 10. Oh my goodness me! He's going to send it up the inside on M Short, and he's made that one stick. I don't believe this. He's into 10th position, and that is a net P5 for the Danish driver. What a sensational overtake!
Mouth wide open, black fly probably in my mouth. Zhao Zhao right on the back of Nathan now for 10th position out on track currently, but he's in a net P5, and I'm literally saying, how many times can he try and overtake in the space of the next 5 laps? I think it might be the next 3 laps, if I've got to be honest. Zhao Zhao on the back of Nathan, but that just cost him. It just dropped him out of a little bit of ERS running down the straight. 50% now running down, as now we're about to see Verstappen closing on Alphatrix running across the line. Rocco's on to set a soft compound tire. They might not get towards the end of the race. Oh, Nathan no dives it down the inside line on Verstappen. Very late move, and Zhao Zhao could get both of them. Verstappen runs him wide, and Zhao Zhao's going to get them both. Zhao Zhao is through on 2 of them. Nathan forced out wide. QVR and relentless fight for position, and they should have fought. M Short tries to dive it down the inside in the background as well, but Zhao Zhao is through, and he's into 7th position. More importantly, he's right on the back of Alphatrix, and this is for a net 2nd.
Unbelievable scenes here from Zhao Zhao. He's just been so consistent with his driving already. He's only been on this tyre for 1 lap, and he's made about, what, 4 or 5 positions up on the drivers in front of him. It's been so sensational for him in this race. He's 3/10 off the back of Alphatrix. I don't think he'll be close enough as the first penalty comes out for Nathan. He's fighting with him short. He's trying to go up the inside, but he's now not
he's
close
going to get
enough.
Him, you know.
Nathan
I think Nathan's got damage.
He does have damage. Well, no, he doesn't. No, Nathan has no damage. He's just a bit slow, I think, at this point. And
are you sure?
probably, there's no visible damage whatsoever on that car, but there might be some damage, emotional damage for Alphatrix, because he's got to have
damage. He's just let Neo through. He's got to have damage. Surely Nathan's going to be coming into the pit lane here. No, he's not.
Zhao Zhao making the move in towards turn number 1 before the corner even comes, and Alphatrix, he backs out of that one. This is going to be the fight of a lifetime for Zhao Zhao. He's in 6th position at the moment, and now he's right onto the back of Montana.
I think Zhao Zhao now should just stay in behind on that set of medium compound tyres, get to around lap 26, lap 27, make the move, and win the race. I think he's got that much pace over him, he doesn't need to show it now. Montana is currently in the net lead of the race. Zhao Zhao in 2nd currently, but he's in 6th out on track. Rocco is not entirely out of this, I would say. He's on a set of soft compound tyres, and look where he's joined. He's joined in front of Campbell, behind Nathan on the back of this train. Rocco's not out of this at all. Rocco could be the one to watch, actually, rather than Zhao Zhao.
Yeah, and I think those tyres will be able to make it to the end, given the fact that they are lighter on fuel, so he won't be putting as much wear into the tyres, and he'll probably be able to utilise them to full effect and get past his relentless ally. I wouldn't expect Nathan to fight him too hard, as there's a mistake from Zhao Zhao, and that's allowed for Alphatrix to go back through, and he's off the circuit. There was contact between the pair of them, and now, yeah, they're wheel to wheel coming down the straightaway. Verstappen backing out there as Zhao Zhao, he made the mistake. Then there was the second touch from Alphatrix, which completely dissettled the cars. If he's making mistakes like this, he's going to go right back onto the rear of the Red Bull car, and I think Montana actually gave him a bit of slipstream down the straightaway for whatever reason. But yeah, that was a very costly error.
Rocco's down the inside. Somebody cut in. What a move that is. Can he get it done? No, he can't. He switches it to the inside line. Coming through 2. Now now coming through 3, now on the run up the hill. Rocco's gonna utilise his ERS to good effect. He's now on the outside line on a fresh set of softs compared to M Short. He tried to dive it down the inside of Neo as well. He's on the outside line, nearly getting a legal overtake. He has. He's got a 3-second penalty. He fights hard, but he's through. M Short is forced across the gravel in true Gasly style from 2021. M Short is now down into 12th. I don't think he'll be happy with Rocco, but I could only see one way that was going. Rocco ahead of M Short. Simple.
Yeah, it was a really clean move from Rocco there in the end. Of course, he did pick up a penalty, and if he doesn't pick up any other warnings in this race, he's on the back of Neo now in towards turn number 11. Easy as...
Oh! And Justas is trying to get through on Nathan as well. And now goes around the outside into towards turn number 12. This is impossible from Justas, but on these set of softs, Nathan did he spun! Nathan has spun! No touch there from Justas. I may justify that. I was on board with Justas. No touch there at all. But yellow flag in sector 3. Nathan's round. VSC deployed. VSC is deployed out on track. And Connor into the pit lane, coming onto a set of soft compound tyre. Yulbrim and Yul Melmat out on a set of hard compound tyre. I'm honestly going to liken this, and I'll say this now. I think Yulbrim and Yul Melmat are committed to try to get to the end of the race. I can't see anything otherwise. If they come into the pit at the end of this, then fine. But they're going to be well down the field. They may as well try something.
It's going to be very risky for the pair of them. They're already pretty darn worn out as that makes 2 Mercedes out of the race because Nathan's left the session. So
yeah, he didn't retire it in the pit lane when he could have. Bit daft.
They might not be too happy about that one. I don't think Nolan's too happy about that one because he goes, why is M Short fighting that? That was looking back to the battle with himself and Rocco. So yeah, it's all kicked off in the Bahrain Grand Prix, but I think the fight for the lead will be, or the net race lead at the moment, as it could stand. It might not actually be the net lead if Yulbrim and Melmat actually go to the end in this one. But for P3 on circuit at the moment, Jiao 4.5 tenths back.
Yeah, but look at Rocco. He's on a set of soft compound tyre. Those are going to be quite fresh towards the end of the race, and he is going to be flying on the back of Verstappen and behind. Justas not entirely out of this either, as Rocco sets a new purple middle sector on that time. Justas is fresh out the pit lane as well, but he tries to close in on Neo. Jiao now got his next target, and this is the target that he all wanted to see, and that we all want to see. Here in League of Europe, it's Montana against Jiao, and Montana now is going to be under sustained pressure. This move is already done down in towards turn 1. Jiao is through on Montana. He's into the lead, but has he committed too early on that tyre? Rocco, by the way, is through on Verstappen. He's up into 6th. Justas through on Neo. Campbell through on M Short as well. All kicking off further down the field. But a good move there by Justas. Good move by Rocco. Good move as well by Jiao. And Jiao now is possibly into that race lead. But Yulbrim and Yul Melmat, 8.8 seconds up the road. Jiao is going to be getting quicker as these tyres go on. He's getting 4 tenths of a second just coming through that set of corners. 8.4 seconds though in what? 5.5 laps? Can he do it? 6.5 laps even?
It's going to be very, very difficult for him. Those tyres will be still in very pristine condition. I think Yul Melmat and Yulbrim won't want to fight each other at all into this race, in towards the end. They'll probably fight on the last lap if they do make it on these tyres. I'm reading the chat. Morgan Short saying that Pride overtook Marcus there. Another one of the Short clan. We've had Martin in a couple times, but yeah, I think he probably should have let Rocco go. Rocco's a lot quicker, and he's actually onto the back of Alphatrix in towards the final corner of the circuit. But I think Alphatrix pulling away, using a little bit of his overtake just to get a better run in towards the final corner. But it might all have been in vain because here comes Rocco down the straightaway with DRS as well, and this could be a little bit of a tough move for Rocco to pull it off. But he's now pulling to the inside line. They're going to be wheel to wheel coming in towards the first corner. He's going to go later onto the brakes. Is Alfred going to try and make the switchback move work? And just the difference in the grip in the tyres, it does not work. Rocco into 5th position.
M Short and Kumbly getting their elbows out. Kumbly tries to go around the outside of turn 3. Nearly makes a move done. Now he will make a move done. He's got DRS, and M Short now drops down into 12th. And he could be, actually, as a result of that little spin that he had and across the gravel he went, he is going to be out of the points, I think, because E1 and D Daniel are in behind. They're on a fresher set of mediums compared to M Short on a set of hards. He has made a mistake. And yeah, E1 right all the back from D Daniel on the back of him as well. E1 now trying to channel in. Morgan Short, by the way, in the comment section is RLH Short. He used to be the GT Sport commentator here in League of Europe. I was going to say in TTML for some reason there. Well, I've thrown my plug out. There we are. Yildirim leading the way. Yulmomat second. Jojo 6.2 seconds off. Rocco all of the back of Montana. That's Nathan's AI. Just going through camera shot. He lost his front wing as well in that crash, did Nathan. But now Rocco all over the back of Montana. These two go miles back in terms of my commentary career. And these two are very, very fierce rivals. One guy's on a set of softs. One guy's on a set of hards. Take your pick. But this is going to be very tasty.
Yep, coming onto the straightaway is Rocco, and just the difference in the grip in those soft tyres. Absolute slaughter of Montana there, and Justas making the move as well. Those soft tyres really geared into pace, especially for Justas. He's been on those tyres a little bit less of a time than Rocco has. He's going to be right to the back of Alphatrix and Montana very, very soon for 5th position. Jiao Jiao is about 5.8 seconds back from Your Melmat. If he's catching at this rate, he's not going to be able to. I don't think he'll be able to take the win of the Grand Prix.
Tries to go around the outside of E1, and D Daniel tries to let him there as well, but E1 is now through and he's into 12, surely down the inside of turn 6. Yes, he does, and now D Daniel tries to follow suit, tries to go around the outside of M Short. He's not putting that one off, and D Daniel's got to be smart. He's got to have some wits about him, and yes, he does. M Short in 13th, and D Daniel in 14th position. D Daniel not going for the move, that's not there. Connor, though, on a set of soft compounded tyres. We've seen how ruthless he has been in this race so far. He's now right on the back of that train from E1 spanning down to Connor. Wouter is out of contention. Nathan's AI, of course, is a lap down. But Yildirim, Yulmelmat, they're within DRS range of each other. 20 laps on the set of hard compounded tyres. We're getting towards puncture territory now. But if these two are going to go to the end of the race, they may as well, because they've got no other choice. It is literally like the peloton chasing the leading pack in the Tour de France. That's as similar as I can put it. Rocco was out of DRS as well on Jiao Jiao, and now Yulmelmat thought was going to go for the move down. Now Justas is through on Alphatrix, and Justas making very good ground through the field. And Alphatrix is going to try and go around the outside line. He doesn't. Campbell on the inside line, and Neo gets the move done. We've seen as many overtakes as we've seen in my sim racing career, to be honest. D Daniel leading the way in 13th, and M Short in 14th now. And yeah, D Daniel through. He takes him over track, to be honest. And look at Connor. Connor's came from an absolute mile back, and Connor now down the inside of D Daniel. He's going to get 2 for 1. 2 for the price of 1. Jojo did it earlier, and Connor is through. 2 again battles between the guys out on track, and Connor is there to lap up 2 free positions.
Yeah, I think that kind of stemmed from M Short just slightly pushing D Daniel off the circuit. This is what I was saying a little bit earlier, with the tilt beginning to settle in, the drivers getting a little bit frustrated, and they just make some sloppy mistakes, and it did cost the position in the end for M Short. And now he's down into 15th. This is a race to forget for the for a former championship contender, but at this rate he's slipping so far in terms of pace from Montana. It's hard to really put him in the ballot box for the championship. We can see him in the next couple of races though.
Yulmelmat and Yildirim, 3 laps to go, have got a 3-second lead over Jiao Jiao at this point. If Jiao Jiao catches up at the rate he's been doing, he's going to get them on the final lap of the race. So this is going to come down to the wire. Justas is through on Montana though, and he's through, he's into 5th. Currently, what we would have thought was a net 3rd. It's not. It is a complete and utter no-go now for Justas. He's now into 5th position. Yildirim and Yulmelmat are committed to the end. They've got 2.5 laps to go to get these set of hards towards the end of the race. They could prove my impossible strategy to actually be very true.
Yeah, I'd imagine their tyres are feeling completely shot at the moment. They're completely done. 21 laps on a set of the same compound of hard tyres. They did do a couple of runs on the medium, under the safety car, so I think they are very, very, they'll be very close to punctures. So they're dancing on a knife edge at the moment. first driver that will be able to take advantage of that will be Zhao Zhao. 2 seconds separating him from his teammate in this one. He can catch them and attack them on the final lap. Whether he takes that position, that remains to be seen.
2 seconds separating the top 3 out on track. I don't think Rocco's going to have a look in, to be honest, in terms of this battle. Zhao Zhao is closing up. It is now literally the snail against the hare against the tortoise, essentially it is. Yulbream leading the way, Yul Melmat in second. These two I think may as well fight for the lead now, and Yul Melmat is going to show that. Yul Melmat wants this, and Yul Melmat is through, and he's into the lead of the race. I think Zhao Zhao's made a mistake, by the way, coming out the final corner now, Rocco, and now Justas, look at Justas, down the inside line, the Lithuanian is going to get both of them. What a move by Justas, he came from an absolute mile back. Zhao Zhao's going to muscle his way, trying to get fourth position, he just about hangs on. Zhao Zhao had a shocking run at the final corner, it seems. He has just thrown his way a race win, possibly on the cards. Justas is through, down the inside. He absolutely torpedoed them down the inside line. He's through and he's into third.
3 abreast, an overtake from Justas, sensational stuff from him, and now he's only got 1.5 laps really to catch up to these guys, so it's looking very unlikely at this rate, but anything and everything can happen in F1. 2.2 seconds is the gap between himself and Yulbream. Now as
in trouble here.
Begins to pull away from the Alpha Tauri driver. 2.2 is still the gap, but off the exit of the corner you can see how much time Justas is making up. I'm surprised these tyres have not completely gone off the cliff at this point. Justas, they're still going to be in very good nick, but coming on to the final lap of the race, this is where it's all going to kick off.
Yul Melmat and Yulbream, I think, might just have this, you know. Yul Melmat coming through the final corner, out on track. Yulbream is in trouble. Yulbream is now pretty much out of second compared to Yul Melmat in front of him. Justas is going to be the one to try and get second, but I think Yul Melmat has gone. He is literally blown away. It is now side by side and behind. Zhao Zhao and Justas side by side. Zhao Zhao absolutely sends it round the outside through turn 1 and gets the move. Brilliant stuff by Zhao Zhao. He is through, and if there's anything to come back from a mistake, that's exactly how you prove it. Zhao Zhao is through and he's into third, and now is going to try and drag. Justas has got to be careful here. Zhao Zhao has got to allow to be dragged along. Justas has got to be allowed to be dragged along by Zhao Zhao in front of him. It's a second to Yulbream. I don't think they're going to get Yul Melmat unless there's a puncture. Unless there's a puncture, Yul Melmat's won this. Yulbream and Zhao Zhao, it is getting so close between these guys. I think Zhao Zhao might get him right on the line. It could be a photo finish.
Well, they've got just about half a lap to navigate and still bring the car home. Zhao Zhao is only 6/10 off the back of Yulbream on those worn-out hard tyres that have gone 23 laps in this Grand Prix. If there's any corner they wouldn't want to puncture at, it's going to be this one. Turn number 12, Yul Melmat into the final sector for the final time of the Grand Prix. I do not believe what I'm seeing. 23 laps on the same set of the hard combat tyres, but the real battle could be for PE number 2, because here comes Zhao Zhao onto the back. He's going to have to commit it to the exit. He's not got any overtake now. Coming off the final corner, this could be wheel to wheel on the line. Here comes Zhao Zhao, putting it down into the straight. Oh my goodness me! Yulbream in second.
Yul Melmat has done the impossible. Dreams do come true here in League of Europe Division 1, and Yul Melmat has won. Ewan has actually glitched the timings and he has won apparently, but
He's
it's not true.
12 seconds ahead.
He's 12 seconds ahead, he's not. Yul Melmat has won. And an absolute cracker. If there was one more lap, I would have loved to see it. Yul Melmat then has won out on track. And if there's anybody who deserves that, it's not him. Driver of the day goes to Ewan, glitching our timing boards. How terrible from the Michael Schumacher lookalike there. But out on track, Yul Melmat absolutely deserved that. He has just proven my one-stop strategy that I said earlier on in the race. It is not often I get a strategy call right, but Yul Melmat and Yulbream have got their strategy call right. Whether they listen to me or not is a different thing, and it just comes to show 24 laps around Bahrain works.
I don't know what I've just seen there. My voice is completely ruined. 1:13.8 is the fastest lap for E1. Take a bow, my son. What a performance from him today. But the real credit has got to go to Yul Melmat and Yulbream, the drivers that completely sniffed it from under our noses. A 1-2 for Germany. And Zhao Zhao, what a sensational performance from him as well into P4.
Brilliant, brilliant race in Bahrain. I did say race of the season. I think we can put it like that. Yul Matters won. German 1-2. Yul wins. Yul Bream in second. Zhao Zhao in third in the end. Justas in fourth. Montana is in fifth. Continues to extend his championship lead. Alpha Trix in sixth. Verstappen in seventh. Rocco in eighth. 3-second Tomley could get removed. And if he does, he's not going to be around. He's going to be ahead of Montana. So he will finish in what? Fifth position that would be if he gets his 3-second penalty removed. Campbell in 10th, Connor in 11th, with Neo in 12th, well, 9th, 10th and 11th, Kumbla in 12th, Daniel 13th, M. Short 14th, Root 15th, Nathan in 16th, Josh in 17th. I don't know where Ewan finished, but Ewan did finish somewhere out on track. I think it was about 11th, 12th position, I would say, for E1, so he's probably finished around there with a 1:13.8 lap time. That was really not representative at all. But Yul Milmat has won, and it just comes to show dreams do come true.
Unbelievable scenes we've just witnessed here. I'm going to quickly... You'll hear my keyboard in the background, but I'm going to ask what their tyre wear was.
I think there must have been about 85%, surely. Around that figure. If they were like nearly 100%, I'd be absolutely flabbergasted. But it does beg the question, Mr. Field, are you going to be doing a shoey?
Oh, I'd forgotten about that one.
You've got to keep to your promise.
What drink do I come out with? And what shoe as well? Oh dear.
Maybe at the start of the stream you could do it next week.
Oh god. No one will get to see it, so...
But here's the other part of the deal that I'm going to throw to you. You've got to record it when you're doing it, and then you've got to upload it while I'm commentating in the background.
Right,
and then it's live.
Right. Okay, cool. What... Not very nice there, but Yul Bream's tyre wear, by the way, 88%.
Wow.
He should get a lottery ticket because he is that lucky to not get a puncture. How has he pulled that one off?
How? It just... His tyre wear. His tyre wear management, absolutely fantastic. One-stop strategy is literally the underdog strategy around here, and the one-stop worked for both of the top two, Yul Bream and Yul Milmat. Having the win, Yul Milmat, of course, Yul Bream in second, and Zhao Zhao capping off. He spun, just remember this, he spun out on track, and he was third. And if he didn't spin, he would have absolutely sailed up the road, I think, by about, what, 5 seconds?
Probably so, yeah. I would say that Zhao Zhao would be winning that race if it wasn't for the mistake, so he'll be kicking himself about that one. I would say, but yeah, he was really strong in the race no matter what. His pace was sublime, and one more lap he'd have won that race, I'd say.
One more lap indeed, he would have won that race, but he didn't. And Yul Milmat has won both Yuls, first and second as well, within League Group Division 1. Of course, you've got more action to come, Division 2 and Division 5. Aiden Carter and Daniel Hoggard taking you through the action for Division 2 and Division 5, of course, being covered as well, both at 8:10, so we are going to now go off the air to watch those races. But Dan, I'll come to you, your final thoughts, and who was your driver of the day?
Oh, my driver of the day, I've got to give it to the two, well, I'll go with Yul Milmat. I'd say it's probably the obvious option, but I think another driver that we do have to think about is probably Zhao Zhao in the end. I'd say he was definitely my driver of the day, I'd say, actually.
I think top 3, to be honest, deserve driver of the days in regard to their performances out on track. I think we can agree to disagree. Let's give all 3 of them driver of the day. I don't think we've ever had 3 drivers of the day, but there we are. I think we can give them that based on merit and based on their performances out on track tonight. It was fantastic to watch. That is the end then for League of Europe Division 1. I really, really hope you have enjoyed it. We, of course, will be back next week to take you through the action out on track. And I'm just looking through the calendar now to see where we go next week. And next week's race is in the Netherlands. Good track. Not so for the drivers, but for the action. Oh, yeah, definitely. But I'm excited for that, you can tell. And that is it for today here in League Group Division 1. Please take care of yourselves in this crazy world that we all live in. For myself and Mr. Daniel Field, thank you so much for tuning in to League Group Division 1. And until next time, goodbye.